Mr. Speaker.
Waiata. Brett Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Peace in our time. Peace in our time. It does feel like peace has broken out in this place today. Pretty soon we'll be sitting around a campfire singing Kumbaya. But I would note, Mr. Speaker, that New Zealand First haven't actually spoken on this bill yet, and those words could prove as short-lived as they were when Neville Chamberlain first raised them decades ago. But it is a pleasure to stand in support of this, the Passport Amendment Bill number 2, Mr. Speaker. It is the principal change here to restore a 10-year validity for our passport is something that Kiwis are very welcoming of. I too would like to reiterate the appreciation to the Minister and the members of the Government Administration Select Committee, which I am fortunate to sit on. The committee did one thing, I think, sir, that it's fair to say that all of New Zealand would endorse strongly. So efficient and effective were we in our consideration of this bill. The greatest amendment we made was to bring forward the introduction date by a full month. So for people like Nanaia Mahuta who are waiting to renew their passport, they can get a 10-year validity 1 month earlier than was originally proposed. But it is fair to point out that the New Zealand passport is not only treasured by New Zealanders, but it's actually the 8th most desirable passport in the world, according to the Art and Capital Group, who created a passport power rank index. We are 8th most desirable passport in the world, ahead of Australia. Not that that would surprise many people, but with that, it's fair to say, Mr. Speaker, not only does it make a very trusted passport around the world, and that's evidenced by the fact that around 170 countries permit us to enter their borders without a visa. So not only is it very trusted, but it actually makes it a bit of a target for counterfeiters. And so after 9/11, when the terrorism threat in particular being what it was, we had to take steps to ensure that it would remain a well-trusted and secure passport. And I think and one of the risks we faced was actually losing our visa waiver status with the US. And I think the Parliament at the time made the consideration that that would have been a greater inconvenience to travellers than shifting to a 5-year validity period. But it is a wonderful thing to be able to stand here now, and hopefully within a few short minutes we will be restoring the 10-year validity to Kiwi passports. I'll just make a couple of points before I finish up to help speed this through. I'm delighted to also see that we're making a change to increase the validity of refugee travel documents from 2 years to 5 years, because that aligns with the residency period for them to then seek permanent residency or citizenship. So that is good to see. It's also good to see, sir, that we're introducing an offence of false representation to be applied extraterritorially, because we had this odd situation that it wasn't an offence to make a false representation outside of New Zealand. So all in all, the bill is making some very sensible changes, and the primary one of restoring 10-year validity is one that will be welcomed across New Zealand, and I commend the bill to the House.